So up to this point, we've been writing a simple scripts, creating an objects, moving them, using functions and variables. That works fine for small tasks. But when we start building a real tool with an user interface, multiple parts that should work together, and logic we want to reuse, using this simple approach isn't a good idea, because the code becomes harder to read, harder to manage, harder to scale. This is where object-oriented programming comes in, and especially classes. A class is like a blueprint, like a draft. Imagine you have a draft of a car. Based on this draft, you can build as many cars as you want. But each one will work the same way, but have its own settings. For example, color, maximum speed, size, number of doors, have air conditioner on, don't have, something like that. So in our case, a class could be something like a locator's draft for creating new locator in the Maya scene. And each created locator can have its own name and position, but the logic, how it's created, how we move it, will be shared. Let's look at a practical example. We want to create a locator and later control its position. Without classes, this would be a set of commands, how we did it before. But with a class, it becomes much cleaner and easier to work. Let's take a look on this code, and I will explain everything. First of all, class locator. We define a new class, our draft, with the name locator. Inside this class, we have two methods. Methods is just a function that lives inside this class and has access to the object's data. What is the object's data? It's all classes inside the class, all methods inside the class, and all attributes inside the class. What is the attributes? In our case, we have two attributes, name and object, which we see in init method. What is the init method? This is a special method that runs every time a new object is created according to this draft, locator draft. So the purpose of this method is to set the initial values and run all what necessary at the start. Self, this is a reference to the current object itself. It allows us to store data inside the object and access it from other methods or inside. So we have a couple of attributes here, name and object. Name is the name. It stores the name we pass when creating the locator, and object, this creates this locator in the Maya scene and gives its name. We will use it later and you will see how it works. So and also we have a second method in this class. It's the move_to. This is a method which allows us to change the position of our locator in the scene. Okay, now using this class and its method, we can create and move locators in the scene. How we can do this? Let's create a new variable, my locator. This will be an object which created according to this draft, our draft locator, with the name my locator. And let's use its method move_to to set the position and the space of this locator. Okay, and run. As you can see, everything works as before. We created the locator, we moved this locator in the scene. So, good question. Why should we use classes if they work in the same way as a bunch of commands as which we used before? So classes allow us to group related logic in one place, reuse code without repeating ourselves, create custom objects, each with its own state and behavior, build complex tools in a structured, maintainable way. When we start doing a little more complex things, be sure you will see why we need it. In our tool, we will use classes in the same way to build interface elements as separate components, widgets, and to define the actions related to the objects in the scene.